Welcome to the Marketing Intern Spotlight. A marketing intern is a listener who's spreading our message authentically. Hear their story, their passion, and their journey. Enjoy.
Craig Lynes, welcome to the Backpocket podcast. How you doing today?
Amazing. Excited to be here.
This is awesome. We got Canadian Craig in the studio.
Yeah, so to give some marketing interns some background, we came across you and your savviness Bochella night after Bochella. How many chiros ended up showing? Like roughly how many? 30? 20 chiros from Northwestern Health Sciences University came to Bochella. Huge sellout. Largely due in part to our good friend Mark here. Craig, you're one of them though. Phenomenal.
Yes.
Getting to know you up on the deck at night, that was phenomenal. And Andrew and I are always trying to tap into the people that listen to us, which is for the most part we have a dedicated chiro audience. And so we give you a follow, all right, let's get Craig on. He seems like the perfect guy. And then we get a follow from an Instagram handle, unbeknownst to us, called Biceps by Craig. So I think we need to start there. What's going on? Is that you, first off?
Okay. I am not the owner of the account. I am no way affiliated with the content produced. I'm more of a model for them.
Gotcha.
We were out at a Canadian party, actually, one night, and one of...
Hold on, what is that?
A Canadian party?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a party where we go and we eat, like, lots of food, like typical stereotypical Canadian food. Like, we get poutine, like, someone always brings pancakes with maple syrup. Like, it's just fun. We get drunk and whatever. Anyways, one of our classmates had one of his buddies down for the weekend. We didn't really know him, and he was just a mess when we showed up. And right away, the first thing he did was comment on my biceps. And, like, knowing me, like, I love that kind of stuff. Like, that goes right to my head. Like, so I reacted to it, like, gave him 5, and then everyone was like, wow, Craig's really pumped about this. We got to just keep it rolling. And then for the rest of that night, everyone just kept commenting my biceps every time they would come by me. And I loved it, like, absolutely. So we were on the boat. It would have 4th of July. We went to La Crosse, Wisconsin. Ton of fun. One of our buddies, like, had a place down there, went downtown, went on. I'm not quite sure what the river is called there.
St. Croix, maybe?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, we'll pretend it is.
Anyways, yeah, we'll pretend it's that. And, I don't know, I guess I was just standing on the boat with a drink, and one of my buddies thought it'd be funny to start an Instagram account of my biceps. So he kind of, like, took a picture of me when I wasn't looking. And because I have, like, a crappy Canadian international cell phone plan when I'm down here, a lot of, like, the cities I go to, I don't really get any service. So I had no idea about it until, like, the next day when I was kind of, like, scrolling through my phone hungover. Yeah, it was just funny.
I absolutely loved getting that tag by Biceps by Craig.
Yeah. I think we need to make this thing go global. I think we, as Andrew and I's jobs as amplifiers, I think we're responsible for that. But I love that you're just kind of a little influencer now. Are you cool with that tag? Yeah,
definitely. I would like to just shout out all the fans from the account. Like, I really love the publicity. It's good for business. And
let's take this to the moon.
Yeah, let's really just launch. Let's launch. Like,
this is the launch pad, and I think we can start by launching off our pad by giving a little background of who Craig is. So we've gotten to know you very briefly, like Declan said, after Bochella, and got to party with you at Bochella. But that's really our only interaction thus far. And our marketing interns don't know you. So if you could give a little background of who you are and where you came from, and where you grew up and all that, that would be great.
Yeah, so I'm from Camrose, Alberta, which for most people don't know where that is. It's north of Montana, so that province, pretty far west. And I grew up in kind of like a medium-sized town. Like, I think there's like 15,000 people or something in it, and kind of surrounded by farm towns and stuff like that. And I grew up, I played hockey, I played golf, played baseball. My dad was a chiropractor, which was kind of why I wanted to get into the profession. It was kind of like laid out for me, like just having someone so close to you that that knows like a lot of things about the profession that you want to pursue, it's like you can really learn from someone like that.
Does he have his own practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has his own practice, and he also has 4 other brothers who are also all chiros in like the area, not in Camrose specifically, but all within like 1 or 2 hours from each other. So there's like a ton of Lynes chiropractics over in Alberta.
Do they have their own specialty? So, like, do your brothers pass each other around? Like, if someone's got lower back or something special, they use the certain brothers?
No,
Okay.
everyone kind of just takes, like, can adjust everyone, and it's just cool to be around. Like, growing up, I was always around chiropractic, and I just thought that it was really cool seeing what it did for other people, and it was really amazing to, I don't know, experience it. And it was always around, and I just wanted to be like, yeah, like, I want to do that. Like, that's awesome. Like, people like it.
That's awesome. So how many people live in Alberta? What's the
In
population?
Alberta, geez, I don't know.
Or where your province? How many people live in your province? Is it a
My
smaller
province?
town, bigger?
There's quite a few. Like, there's Edmonton and Calgary. If I were to guess, I'm gonna say 10 million, but that's really a shot in the dark. Like, I have no idea.
Wow, so you come from a city.
Well, Alberta is like the province, which would
Got
be
it.
like a state. But
Got it.
Camrose.
So me asking how many people live in Alberta is like,
yeah, that'd be like how many people live in Minnesota.
I don't know.
No, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like 10 million?
10 million.
yeah, that's good guess. Good guess.
That's sweet though, man. So you can say confidently that you come from a family of learned doctors.
Yeah,
That's on your resume for sure.
definitely.
Is there any sort of competitive attitude or prowess in the Lynes family?
No, actually, there's not. And that's kind of one thing that's awesome. Like, you're never trying to outdo anyone. Like, you're just trying to provide people with the best care possible. And you can't really outcompete anyone. Like, the businesses are so far away that they don't really get the same clients. Everyone has different patients. And, yeah, it's definitely, they learn off of each other. Like, you
Sick.
learn things from each other while you're practicing.
That's really cool. I'm curious, coming from a guy that's like very small brained in the chiropractic field, from your perspective, where does Canada fall in the line of like comparatively to the United States with how they receive chiropractic or
Chiropractically?
Yeah, yeah. Let's use that word.
How is Canada received chiropractically? Craig.
So in Canada, it's a little different because down here, I think I want to say there's 17 different chiropractic schools around America. Is that right, Mark? 17? And in Canada, there's only like 2. There's one in Toronto, and then there's one in Quebec somewhere, but that one's French, and I don't speak French, unfortunately. So that wasn't really on the resume.
Barrier to entry was a little higher.
Yeah. And then, so when you come back, like if I wanted to practice in Canada, there's a lot less chiropractors that are willing to come back and do that just because there's not as many schools, so they're not really having as many new doctors each year. And it kind of makes it easier because if you're in a bigger city area, you're not necessarily competing with, like, there will be other chiropractors, but not like the same amount as you would get in Minneapolis, I feel like, or places close to a chiropractic college.
10-4. I like that. How did you find your way to Minnesota? What was the draw? What's the story there?
Well, one girl from my hometown.
It's always the ladies, man.
Always
It's
the
always
ladies.
the ladies.
Anyways,
Classic.
I
the
knew
story
she-
behind the bicep finally
knew-
coming out.
I knew she went here, and that kind of like made it a little bit easier knowing that I knew one person down here, because it's like kind of a big deal, like moving away to a different country. And you honestly, when I came down here, I didn't know one person. Like, you're obviously gonna have new experiences, and which is whatever, and it was awesome. I'm so glad I did it. But where are we going with this? What was the question again?
Coming down to Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was your initial connection, and then did you tour
yeah.
the school and stuff?
Yeah, I toured the school one day and went out on the town kind of, and that was a lot of fun. And one thing that Northwestern had over the other chiropractic schools is because I'm a Canadian citizen, I get to pay the Canadian or American tuition, so I think it's like 11 grand or something, but I get to pay that in Canadian dollars. So if you convert that, I actually save like almost $3,000 each semester. So that was like a big thing. And over 10 semesters, like That's 30 grand. Like that adds up.
There you go. Good math, Craig.
Yeah.
That's
3
phenomenal.
times 10.
So I didn't even have to back check you on that one. In terms of like cultural differences between Canada and the U.S., what were some of those initial things that you may have found or noticed right away, or even now? Because how long have you been here for?
Almost a year. Yeah, it'll be a
Okay.
year in September here.
All right, so let's do a little in-house research project, a little review. What are your findings of America? What have you learned? What are the new things that you've noticed that are different from Canada?
Well, for one thing, definitely when you guys say brats, back home we would call them smokies, and that was like a really big. That was confusing. When
A
I first got
discrepancy,
here.
I would
Yeah,
say.
definitely a discrepancy. Like my roommate would ask if I wanted any brats, and I was like, "What the hell? No." Like, what's he talking about? And I was kind of just like shy and didn't want to talk about it. Another thing I noticed was I have an accent. Personally, I don't hear it. Like, it does not come out. Like, you guys think I have an accent?
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
Thank you, Declan. Thank you.
Thick Canadian accent.
When you came in here and asked how our night was last night, you guys hit the town, or were you keeping it kosher? Like, I'm 1,000,000% saying keeping it kosher for the rest of my life. So thank you.
Yes, you're
Same
welcome.
with Smokies. I think Smokies is a great term for brat.
I think it's much better. Brats is aggressive, and it's kind of like it's almost gross when you say, "Can I have a brat?" Or,
Yeah.
Can I get a smoky? It's almost like I'm gonna eat something that's gonna be delicious.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use that word for my brats going forward. Yeah.
But yeah, don't lose your accent because I freaking love it.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
Good. So Smokies, your accent, have people been like giving you shit about it, or what's the?
Well, I think everyone kind of got used to it now, but like when I'm meeting new people, for sure, they'll be like, "Wow, you're definitely Canadian," and then they'll always add in like an extra A, or like say something along those lines.
Got it. That's awesome, man. So I've only been to Canada once, and it really wasn't even Canada. Mark and I went on a skiing trip to Whistler, but
Oh,
there's
yeah.
We went to Winnipeg, dude.
We went to North Winnipeg as well for 24 hours, and I can't say I got a lot of cultural diversity there and got to know Canada either.
No, we played a football game there, and we kicked the shit out of
Kicked the shit out of like
Nice.
8-year-olds, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, it was
From what it
weird.
felt like.
How old were you guys?
We were
were
freshmen in college,
Yeah, we were 20.
and
one.
they were definitely in high school,
Yeah.
and we destroyed them.
Like we played 2 games. One was in their rules and one was in our rules, and we kicked the shit out of them either way. So it was just like, oh, all right, that was it. But going off that,
Sorry, I destroyed.
no, that
Whistler,
was,
Whistler. Yeah.
no, I wasn't even gonna get into that, but I was just gonna ask if there's any place that we should go in Canada. Where should we go?
I'm biased. I'm from Alberta, and we got a wicked mountain range there.
Oh.
Like, I would go to like Jasper, Banff National Park, if you've ever heard of that. It's
Mhm.
like, if you know the picture, it's like mountains in the background, this super blue lake. It's
Yeah.
called Lake Moraine. Like, all the white girls posted on their Instagram. Like, it's a must do if you come to Canada.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm biased. That's like 3 hours from my hometown, like
Mhm.
from where I grew up. It's just, I don't know, it's a pretty cool place. I've become like immune to it just because it is unbelievable, but I've seen it so many times that it's just like, oh, it's the mountains, like it's always accessible, it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
But like for other people to go, I would recommend definitely going once.
Yeah,
Got
that
it.
sounds awesome.
And is Banff in British Columbia?
Yeah, so it like kind of borders Alberta and BC.
Okay.
So it depending on where you are. I think Banff is in Alberta, but like the
Gotcha.
mountain range that's there, like the Rocky Mountain range, part of it's in BC and another part's in Alberta.
Okay.
So geographically, this is confusing for me because I'm from Colorado, and we have the Rocky Mountains too. So are we both living in the Rocky Mountains?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, we got a big
actually-
map. You
Yeah,
wanna-
we got a. I really don't know. Like I know it connects to like the Montana Rocky Mountains,
Yeah.
like that mountain range. I don't know. I don't even know where Colorado is. I'm gonna be honest with
All
you
right, turn
guys.
around. You see that little silver dot on that square part?
Oh yeah,
That's Denver.
Colorado.
That's Denver right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe does Wyoming have
Yeah.
mountains too? Yeah, then probably the same
Jackson
mountain
Hole.
range.
So wow, I didn't realize the Rockies went that far.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
dude.
neither did I. Yeah, that's Alberta. Yeah, right at the top there.
Oh no shit. Yeah. Wait.
see,
Okay.
That's why I said that's how I knew British Columbia, because I knew Banff was west of
Yeah.
Canada, And then I was like, all right, so that's got to be in that area.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
I
we
was
have
using my context clues.
hey, good
Yeah.
stuff, guys.
Look at us learning today. Jeez.
God, we're
Yeah.
on fire.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it goes from west to east. It goes British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Quebec's all the way-
Ontario.
Ontario,
Yep.
Quebec.
Quebec.
Quebec or Quebec?
I'm good with both. I mean,
Yeah.
Nice.
that,
They both play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they both
definitely.
play. Okay.
And that's Canada.
And that's so Canada, dude.
Yeah.
God. All right. So I definitely want to go to that Instagram lake. That sounds something like
oh yeah, for sure.
super sick. Or do you like ski or snowboard at all?
Yeah, I do quite a bit of snowboarding actually.
Nice,
Like there's
dude.
quite a bit of mountain ranges back home. Like my family growing up, we would go to Panorama every single year.
Dude.
And I just loved it. Like the powder there and just like the runs. They have like 3 lifts that you can take to the top of the mountain and it's like a half-hour ride down if you're cooking, but if you're like stopping, maybe like have a beer or like you know.
Sitting mountainside.
You're
Yeah,
sitting
yeah,
outside.
you're sitting mountainside just appreciating the day. Like, pretty good scenery around there.
Oh yeah.
Don't you love that when you can, like, because I'm a big skier myself, and all of us are here as well. Just being able to like sit in the snow, sit in the chowder, and just take in the leaves, the trees, the mountains,
Yep,
just your
exactly.
surroundings. Nothing better, man.
Definitely.
Nothing better. Then beer's on the lift up for sure.
Yeah, a must do.
Yeah, absolutely. You get Sandy off cliffs at all?
I have, but not like willingly. Like most of the cliffs there are pretty come out of nowhere. Like there's a lot of double black diamond runs. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never
Mhm.
really. And they're kind of like just whatever terrain. Like you can get yourself into some pretty like slippery situations, but for the most part, it's pretty safe. Like
Yeah.
if you're not being dumb, you're not gonna hurt yourself.
Sure. It's the mountain's your playground, and as long as you're on the swing set, you're gonna be fine. But once you start jumping off the
once
swing
you
set,
start jumping off, that's when problems happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Sandy, and we do a beef week every year. So
Oh, nice.
it's the 3 of us, and usually like 5 or 6 other guys, and we just go and hit the mountains for a couple days a year. And this past year we went to Beaver Creek and got some absolute chowder shots, dude.
Oh,
It was
nice.
like 14 inches of snow, 12 inches of
Oh
snow.
yeah, live for those days.
Oh, it was all time, to be honest. It was phenomenal. But so within your first year of being in Minnesota, is there anything that you just like really love about Minnesota?
Honestly, Minnesota, from where I'm from, the weather, like the summer is unbelievable. We've had like 3 months of Alberta's Julys. Like the weather's humid and hot, but I also like love just being around people all the time. There's like always something to do around Bloomington. Like there's bars, you can go to uptown, downtown. Like you're
Around
never
town.
bored
Yeah.
around town. Yeah, you're never bored.
that's awesome, man.
Down here in summer, it's just new experiences, I guess.
Yeah, you're finding your way. So yeah, you've been here for a year, and that you got 2 more years in school, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is on the docket? Anything that you're trying to see and utilize in the United States? Like are you trying to see other parts of the country? Have you seen other parts of the country? What's your knowledge of coming around and seeing this vast country? Just like Canada, it's huge. It's hard to get to everything.
Yeah, there's like for sure a lot of things that I want to see, and when we're in school, it's kind of hard to go on vacations and do stuff like that because we are really busy.
Sure.
Like right now, we're not bad. This semester's been pretty fun, but other semesters we've been kind of in the library just grinding all the time. But yeah, there's definitely things I want to see like around the States. Like I think when I graduate, my plan is kind of to take like an extra long drive home, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and just like drive around to different like tourist attractions. Like when am I going to get the opportunity to do that?
That's a great idea. Are you gonna kind of go south and then loop around and come
Yeah,
north?
like, well, I
Let's
haven't
plot it-
really
let's-
planned it. Like,
let's
yeah,
plot it
I
out
think
here.
You guys should, yeah.
Okay, so-
what should I hit up?
Okay, so you see Minnesota right there,
Yep,
and you
I
see all
got
like
it.
the little red lines crossing through, kind of like right below the Oda part.
Yep.
Okay, so that's where we are right now. There's a
Perfect.
highway that goes straight down. That is 35. You can take that straight down into Iowa, but you like don't stay. There's nothing there. You can head west to across Nebraska. Again, nothing there. into either Wyoming, which you have Jackson Hole. You can go skiing and stuff, and there's all kinds of the Teton Mountains, which are phenomenal. Or you can go into Colorado, hit the spots in Denver, go skiing in Colorado, hiking, do whatever you want there.
I think you missed South Dakota.
South Dakota, yeah, you can go see the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in South Dakota. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they got what is the Redlands, or is that farther? The Badlands.
The Badlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's a beautiful area. Have you been to Montana before?
I actually have. Yeah, I went snowboarding. Went on a snowboarding trip with the boys one time there down to Whitefish. I think
Whitefish,
it's
okay.
called.
Big Sky, one of those two.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Whitefish. Yeah.
Okay. Sick. But yeah, do you know of what about anywhere like southeast? Have you ever thought about like going to New York or Florida?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I think actually we have this thing through our school. It's called Chiro Games, and we weren't allowed to go in our first trimester just because I think lots of people failed if they went in their first trimester. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go probably $300 for like a weekend to. It is Florida we go to, right?
What exactly is the Chiro Games? Are you just cracking necks left and right, or what's going on there?
I don't think there's anything to do with chiropractics with it. Like, you go and you like compete in a sport, but no one's really that competitive, and it's just like a big party for a couple days. From
like
my understanding,
Yeah, it's like all the chiropractic schools will send groups down there, and it's like the Olympics. Like, they got basketball, beach volleyball, all these different games, and then everybody just says you party for 3-4 days and go back on your way.
That's legit.
Oh, that's awesome. Who
Yeah.
put that together? That's genius.
That sounds like a Backpocket thing. Like, I feel like we would do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Find any way to be competitive and get drunk. I feel
party.
like, yeah, party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What other tourist attractions can we send you on? You want to go to California? Ever been there?
No, I've never been to California.
Okay. That's definitely a place you should go.
That's a funny story. I actually ended up applying for the Palmer School down in California and was like pretty pumped. Like, I'm from Canada. It's like, yeah, I want to go to school in California. Then I was like looking at rent down there, and it was like $2,500 a month. Like,
oh, man.
for like you're living in a box with like 5 roommates. It was just ridiculous. So
It is
really
the most expensive state in the United States.
yeah, I believe
Hands
that.
down.
Yeah, after I saw that, I didn't even go look at the school. I should have still, but
Jeez. Yeah, California's kind of like its own economy too, which is I don't know if a lot of people know that, but it's true.
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you got, Dak? Expand on that. You can't just drop economy
Yeah.
knowledge and be
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, that's it.
Like what they produce, they export, what they like provide in terms of dollars is like the 5th biggest economy or something in the world. It's wild. Or in the United States or something. I don't know. It's wild.
Sick.
Yeah. That's about all I heard that once.
Okay. You read that? Did you listen to a podcast on that?
Most likely, yeah.
Sure.
I may have learned that somewhere else. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Any other attractions that this guy should hit up?
You know, I'm looking out because, so if he was going west and then north, it just like the trip home, right?
Yeah.
You got to take this like this loop home.
Yeah, the
Obviously,
Nike
Dak,
swoosh up.
you started 35 south, and I was like, that's
Stupid?
yeah. You're
Okay.
not going to go south. You got to go. He's going to go west right away from where he is. So that means
Okay.
that's why I brought up the Badlands and Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
And then you would go into Wyoming, and I think like there's got to be something in there that I'm just not thinking of right now. That's a sweet tourist attraction because a lot of those states have a lot of monuments and memorials in them. I'm blanking on what they are, just because there's just it's massive land that's not utilized. It's a lot of state forests and national forests.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone
Oh,
is
yeah.
in Wyoming. Yeah.
Go rock climbing.
I really don't know what's in Idaho.
Idaho, they got potatoes, dude, and that's about all I know.
Boise State.
Boise State.
I agree, though, Andrew. That would be the move. I think you go west, just road trip west, hit all those states, Southern California, come up,
Mm.
and then loop it back to Alberta. But that is the prettiest part of the country, in my opinion, is all the West Coast.
Yeah, Pacific
West Coast trip,
Northwest type.
yeah.
Yeah, you mix in some Salt Lake City. I've
Mhm.
never been there, but I've heard good things.
Yeah. They're Mormon down there. Have you heard of Mormons?
Yeah, I think. What?
A Mormon is just a different type of religion, but they're all in
Yeah.
Utah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
they're
definitely.
they're all there. It's wild. That's about all I know about Mormons.
Strictly in Utah.
They don't drink.
They don't disperse.
So they don't drink. They're not allowed to drink caffeine, beer. Obviously not doing any drugs. But they're very very cleansed, and it's cool. They're like the nicest people too, which is sweet.
I
So
believe that.
yeah, they're pretty Canadian. Do you
Just
think?
polite.
Have you, Craig? I actually have to get this on record. Have you ever met a mean Canadian?
A mean Canadian? Oh yeah.
Really?
Like, you guys got a good taste, like, or I don't know. Mark gets a good taste at school. Everyone's pretty nice. There are some like I don't know by mean, like how you would gauge, like, what's the mean scale here? Like, yeah, we like to apologize, and
A mean person would not apologize.
all right, yeah, we would probably throw in an extra sorry every now and again or something like that. But yeah, there's definitely mean Canadians.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was curious.
That's a funny question, right? Because like, how do you describe mean? Like, I don't know a lot of people that are like mean all the time, right? They have some
Purposely.
mean,
Yeah.
some mean moments just because they're hungry or they slept wrong or they had a bad day. But I don't know a lot of mean people.
That's a great point. I just didn't. I guess
It's
the
a funny
better-
way to just like I love how people say, even in Minnesota, like everyone says they're super nice here or they're passive aggressive or whatever that is. Us three from not being here are like, yeah, sure, there's definitely some signs of that, but what really are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. There's flashes. There's things that happen where you're like, oh, that was really nice of them, or there's the way people format what they're saying a lot of the times too. I don't know. It's
I definitely think it falls back on the
apology.
apology more times than you need to.
Yeah,
That's something that definitely occurs here in this Minnesota, and I'm guessing, like you just mentioned, it happens in Canada.
Yeah,
maybe too much.
definitely. Like, just the other night, I was at the bar, and I was just standing there with a drink in my hand, and this guy just like ran into me, and I apologized to him. And it's like, why? He ran into me, kind of looked at me, and he was just like, why'd you apologize? And I was like, kind of on the spot. I was like, oh, that's just what you do in public. Like, but
Did someone get on you for that? Like, Craig, what the hell, dude?
yeah, it was a guy I didn't know, so it was like even more awkward. It's like, why are you engaging me right now? Like, I know, like,
That's too funny.
You should have flexed on him,
they
dude.
flexed on him. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you finish your road trip, whatever it may be, it sounds like it's going to be phenomenal. What are your plans? You want to go back to Alberta? Is kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm gonna go back to Alberta. Like I said, my dad has a bunch of brothers who are all chiropractic, so I could probably associate at any one of those practices and hopefully eventually buy one out. I know his eldest brother is like, I think he's 70 right now, or maybe 71, so he's probably looking to retire or sell his business, and I think that's definitely an opportunity that I'd want to jump on.
Ooh,
Right on.
all right. That's sick.
Be a little business owner, little entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely. That's the plan anyways.
Okay, nice. Well, that's phenomenal. That is Craig in the box, dude.
That's Craig in a box. And one way we also love to tap into that box of each guest is asking a question that don't ask this all the time, but it's like a story question. We tag it as like a bar story. And this is something that's really interesting about yourself that if you were talking to a stranger, you'd want to share with them. That's kind of be like, oh, this is who I am. I'm gonna wow them a little bit. And I'm curious. We didn't prep you with this question, so it could be tough to think off the top of your head. But is there a bar story that you would want to share with our listeners, our marketing interns?
Whew, a bar story. Wow.
It doesn't have to be specifically in a bar, but it's just like one that you want to share to people while you're like having a great time.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, definitely. So when I first got down here, it was kind of hard I'm kind of like an introverted guy, like shy. Like, I like communicating with people. Like, I'm a big communication guy, but always shy and kind of conceived. And it's hard for me to go out and just like meet people, especially in like an environment where I don't know anybody, right? Basically, like, so basically from what I got from my friends at home is like, yeah, just go down there and drink your face off for like the first 2 weeks that you're here and just meet everybody, make friends. So I was like, all right, cool. So I get down here, and the first week I went out quite a bit. And one of my great buddies from school, his name's Kyle, actually. And we hung out like 3 days in a row. But every time we hung out, I was drunk. and I couldn't remember his name. So I'd like see him the next day, and he would walk up to me and be like, "Hey, dude, how are you doing?" I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, pretty good. Like, what's your name, man?" He'd be like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what's with this guy? Like, what's wrong with him?" Like, we hung out for like 4 hours yesterday. And like, he would never say that because he's too polite, but like, he would just like meet me again. Like, yeah, though, and then like probably it would have been the third or fourth time this happened. Like, he was finally just like, "Dude, we walked home from the bar together for like 20 minutes last night. Like, you should know my name. Like, figure it out." And after that, it like kind of clicked. I was like, "All right, don't forget this dude's name anymore. He's pissed."
You write it down on your hand every single time you look.
Yeah,
Kyle.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I know all of my friends can attest to. Like, back home and here, like, not very good with names, and it's definitely something that I need to work on, and it's definitely led to even more just funny, awkward moments like that.
What's your go-to when someone comes up to you and it's like, "Craig, what's going on, bro?" Like, what's your response to not tee off that you don't know their name?
Honestly, I will just like give them like a high five or something, and I will go to the washroom and I will look them up on Instagram. Like, the people who have their real names on like their social media and Instagram, like, bless you. Like, honestly, it is so nice. Like, you kind of like know the letter maybe that their name starts with, or like they're familiar from school, so you could like go look at someone else's profile to kind of like figure out who they are, and then you can come back like 5-10 minutes later and call them by their name. And people love being called by their names.
People do appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
breaking news on that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's really has really helped me out down here. I have done that more times than I'd like to admit.
Oh my god, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is your average quality names? I mean, it's tough to like. It's really tough when you're coming down here and you know one person. It's so easy for everyone to know the one person. It's hard for you to know the other 50 people that you met. So what's your batting average right now in terms of knowing people's names?
Knowing people's names now, it's like, I would say I know probably 75% of the people in my class. But like at the start, it was like I knew a handful of people. Like, it was, I don't know, you'd go to class with them and see them every day, but you don't know people's names, and it's like kind of awkward to just like interact and communicate with them, just in case like you have a conversation with someone for 10 minutes. It's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, what's your name, man?" It's like you can't
just be honest about it.
Yeah.
How many people are in your class?
I think we started with 147 or something like that, and I think we're down to about 100 now, or maybe 95 or 6.
Whoa, that went fast.
Yeah, we dropped off quick.
Yeah, you weed out the weak. That's interesting.
Is that what T2 is? T2 weeds out everybody. T1 and T2. Okay.
Wow.
I didn't realize that.
That's really interesting. Well, I love that you're pushing yourself and going into chiro school and all this, because just hearing from Mark and then Andrew, who came on the show, and Dr. Matt Weiss, who's been on the show, who's in the industry. I love the people that are doing that right now. And there's a really in this industry, it's the oyster. What's that saying?
The impetus.
The world is your canvas in Chiros, and because you don't really have to do there's obviously like things that you can do, best practices, but it's really how you want to go about the methodology of having patients and working through the system. I think that's really unique and pretty awesome. I just want that to be known. Yeah.
Thanks, Craig.
So
Thanks
thank
for all
you,
your
Craig.
service.
Yeah,
Thanks for all your future
definitely.
service.
Yeah,
I want to give
we
a
haven't
shout out.
started yet.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to future Craig and all of the patients that you're going to be helping.
Because did you know that we actually have a chiropractic in this house?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had.
It's not affiliated with Chiros. We can't use the name chiropractic because it's illegal. But for all those that are studying,
yeah, aspiring chiros,
yes,
we would love to have you over.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we have a table, allegedly, and we'd love to get readjusted. If we would love to be your dummies. Just snap our necks whenever you feel necessary, and we'll go from there. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I think definitely. I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. That's one thing that we don't get to do enough is like actually practice, because you can adjust someone like once and then it's like you can't really continue. So it's not like you get like 30 reps when you're practicing something. You get like one.
1 rep.
Yeah, depending on how many people are there.
Okay.
Sure.
So
Cool.
if we line up like 10 people, I guess you get 10 tries.
10 reps. Are you pretty confident in like readjusting someone, like just a typical, I don't know what a typical readjustment would be, but do you have like a run of the mill adjustment that you're super confident in?
Yeah, definitely now. Like we've really went through thoracic and cervical adjustments. So cervical would be like your neck, and thoracic's kind of like mid back and ribs. And those are like the kind of adjustments that we've learned so far. And I'm feeling like pretty confident in them at this point, but I know like I've probably barely scraped the surface on what I need to know. And that's like kind of exciting. I feel like in our profession, you're always going to be learning. And that's just the way it is, which is honestly cool. Like I love learning. I love school. That's why I'm going into my, I don't even know what grade this would be, like 18, like something ridiculous.
18th grade. How many years of college did you go in?
I did it in 4 and a
Okay.
half.
And
Four and a
then-
half.
And then high school is, or like K through 12, is that, do you do the same thing in Canada? Like do you go to kindergarten, first grade, second grade, all the way to high school?
Yep. K to 12
Okay, so that's 12 years, then another 4
and a half.
and a half in college.
And
so
then
that's 16 and a half. And then
Yeah.
how many?
it'll be 3 here. So by the time I'm done, I'll be 19 and a half years deep.
Wow.
It's a lot of school.
That
That's
is
pretty crazy to
almost
think
2
about.
decades of learning.
With all that school, that causes for, I think, a lot of drinking. Just to, not in like an aggressive way, but in a way to celebrate, right? You're a lot of education. And I need to confirm, is Canada a heavy drinking culture?
Yeah, I would definitely say it is. It's kind of like a weird scenario. Like the drinking age in Alberta, you can legally drink when you're 18. So basically, when I was in grade 12, I have a late birthday in October, but a lot of my friends could legally go to a bar, sit down, and drink like as much as they wanted, which was kind of weird. When I came down here, it was kind of like we had all been drinking since we were like 15 or 16, like not ridiculously, but here it was kind of a different atmosphere because I know that it's 21 and they kind of have like, they're a little bit more strict here in terms of like what's it called when you get like caught drinking underage?
A minor?
Yeah, you get a minor.
Mhm.
Yeah, like they give those out like at college all the time. Like I know my roommate was telling me this story the other day. They had a party at their house in undergrad. He ended up passing out at like 10 because he was drunk. And the cops showed up, came into his room, woke him up, and gave him a minor. He said he like stood up, just kind of like was in his boxers, just looking at like this police officer, like what the heck is going on? Like,
Damn.
like that'd be a tough one. He said that was like his second one too.
Oh,
Tough balance.
damn. I got a minor at like 6 weeks before my 21st birthday. I was so close, and it was all because the whole story is insane. But I got one 6 weeks before, which sucked. But is it pretty lenient or strict in Canada? It sounded like it wasn't very strict. Even if you were caught drinking when you were 15 or 16, you were.
Yeah, it would. It's not very lenient. Like for the most part, people will like the cop would just like dump out your booze. And like when I was growing up, the ticket for getting caught like drinking underage was like $40 or $45.
Oh, wow.
Which in Canadian that'd be like 30 here.
Yeah,
like,
33 or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Depends on your exchange rate. We're not gonna.
Yeah.
We don't need to dive into that. Jeez.
What's the drink of choice up in Alberta?
Ooh, the drink of choice in Alberta. I am going to have to go with. God, that's a tough one. We're a big Bud Light, Old Milwaukee. I don't know. I'm biased. I like cheap, crappy beer.
Okay. Yeah.
I like good beer too, but the cheap, crappy stuff is more affordable.
Old Milwaukee's made its way up to Alberta.
Definitely.
Gosh, that blows my mind.
That's another thing. Booze is a lot more expensive in Canada. Like you go to the
Really?
liquor store and you'll get a 12-pack of beer for like $35.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Of like cheap beer?
Yeah, like that'd be like a nicer case of beer, but if you're going to get like a 12-pack of cheap beer, it'd still run you for like 20 $6-7.
You're kidding.
And here it's like you can get an entire flat for like 20.
A flat's a 24 rack.
Yeah.
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 No
Yeah,
way.
1999. That blows my mind. Also, that I just remembered this. Weed is legalized in Canada. So that was 2018.
Yep, last October, I believe.
Damn. So
was
you had just
legalized.
come down to study, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Dang,
You
dude.
missed it.
Yeah, I did miss it.
How do you feel about that?
Honestly, not really much changed. Like, yeah, like it was pretty cool when it first kind of got legalized. I know they're called dispensaries. That's where you go and buy. It's basically a liquor store, but for weed, which is pretty cool. And you could go down there and basically go in, and you'll walk in. They'll have this room full of like different strains, like different percents of THC, and you can kind of like pick what you want. It says like the different high that you can get from each one.
Indica and sativa.
Yeah, like whatever. But yeah, kind of off the start, no one really had like any stock. Like it would come into the dispensary and people would just like buy it all out right away. So
Oh, dang.
I don't really know. I actually haven't even been to one yet.
Dang. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder how long do you think it's going to take to get legalized throughout the entire country?
I don't know. It's a great question. It's got so Declan's from Colorado, so he's been able to experience that. And when Mark and I visited, we've been able to like be inside a distillery and see what that. I mean, I think it's the coolest thing. And then Illinois where Mark and I are from, just passed a law to legalize weed in January 1, 2020. So the United States is making strides as well, and not only are they starting to legalize it, but the businesses behind it are starting to get very smart and starting to get like very professional on how they like making money, putting good product out there. So like how you described, like a lot of the distilleries have weed coming
Dispensaries.
in. That's beer.
Distillery is
Beer.
wine.
Or wine. Okay. Whiskey.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Dispensary is where we're at, though.
Dispensaries.
Yeah.
Lost my point. What was I saying?
They're
Oh,
pushing
the-
out
the-
a better product.
Better product in like Canada. The weed gets like pushed too quickly and then it's empty. I'm guessing a lot of like, I don't know. There's just a lot of farms out there right now, and
there's a lot of land.
people are making bags from selling weed or producing it and selling it to dispensaries. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the producers behind it, the farmers, I guess, if you want to call them that. Yeah, it's interesting though, because I'm interested on how like the whole market ends up shaking out. With you got massive Canada already legalized, that's going to influence a lot of the northern states that don't have it legalized. And so, how many states have it legalized right now? California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Illinois. I feel like a lot of them have them medically as well, but I think what's really cool about it is like it's finally turning it around, and I think the stipulation on marijuana in probably whenever it gets, I think even before it gets completely legalized across the United States, will be finally looked at as more of a more of a medication, like a pain, something that's good for relieving your pain, and I think that's just gonna be great. Like it's so much better to look at it that way than to be judged for saying you smoke a joint, dude. That's always the worst.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of a different atmosphere when you go home now. Like you'll be at the bar and people will just be like smoking it. Instead of having a dart outside the bar, they'll be smoking a joint, and no one really bats an eye because it's like you're allowed to do that now. Yeah.
It's interesting, man.
I'm a big fan. I think there's just a lot of good things that'll come of it. Do you see? Do you see the the combination of Chiro school and marijuana, having a blend in any type of way? Is that something that you're looking at and researching, or is that something that you're just like, maybe someone will come out with like a case study and that'll come and be something that's relevant?
I personally, I don't think that, I think it's too new, like it's too early, like people are just getting used to it, like being legalized. Like I know like the older generation is kind of like frowning upon it up in Canada. And I feel like right now, like if I were to graduate, let's say tomorrow, like I would not incorporate it into my practice, but I do definitely think there's like definitely connections between like marijuana and relaxation and like massage, kind of acupuncture, that whole kind of like field. But right now it's still kind of like a hot topic and everyone's kind of up in the air about it. So I don't think you can really, like, as a professional, associate that with your practice currently.
That's
Gotcha.
a good point.
Yep.
But you do see that there's like someone at some point will probably take a risk and try and forge the two.
Yeah, I definitely won't be the first. I'll tell you.
Oh,
that.
you're not gonna be breaking ground on that,
No,
Craig?
I'm definitely not going to be breaking ground. But yeah, I could definitely see that in the future.
Okay. How about I feel like your business should be called Craig's Chiro.
Craig's Chiro? I don't know. That's a tough one. It's I think I got to stick with the chain of Lynes Chiropractics.
Yep. It's a reputable name, and they're doing well. Obviously, there's
Yeah.
you
Yep.
said 5 of them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Maybe 5.
Gosh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's bananas.
Well, Craig, to kind of tap back into you personally and your kind of story, I would love to hear your average quality at this point. And this is a question we ask every single guest. It's something that you do well at times and other times not so well. At the end of the day, it's your average quality. So, Craig, what is your average quality?
My average quality, like getting back to it, was definitely like names and communication, like trying to really, like, I'm good at talking to people. Like I met you guys like 2 weeks ago one night when I was like not sober.
Yeah.
And
Honestly,
you
I think
invited me on the podcast, and I was like, sure, that sounds like a ton of fun. Like, I love talking about myself. And
This guy gets it.
yeah, it's definitely going back to just names and interacting with people. Like, I can really I'm really good at talking to people, but I feel like there's always like a distant point of connect when I'm speaking with someone, just because I struggle with names, and it's something that I've really been working on and have been improving with, definitely. And I feel like that's my average quality. Like, I'm a really good speaker, really good at talking to people, but it's something that definitely like knocks me back a peg and like will keep me from saying certain things.
Right on,
Absolutely.
dude. That's spot on. You looked at the average quality perfectly, and I appreciate how you answered that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I love what you're doing with going into the washroom, which, I mean, we call them bathrooms here, but
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We'll let that one slide.
Yeah, that's another weird topic about America. Why would you call it a bathroom? Like, there's usually not very many baths in the ones I've been in around here. Like, I mean, if you're in a house, yeah, I guess there's a bath, but like at a bar, I wouldn't call it a bathroom. Like, you go in there, you wash your hands, maybe go to the washroom, bathroom. I don't know.
Okay, Craig.
I don't know.
I'm a restroom guy. That's what I say. It's a restroom.
Yeah, restroom. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Or
neutral.
The
That's
pisser.
neutral. The pisser. Yeah, there we go.
The shitter.
The shitter, dude.
Yeah. Yo, where's your shitter?
Yeah.
Just in like you're in someone else's home and you just had like 4 beers and it's like you just like go up to the house, get owner, and you're like, where's your shitter?
You guys will think this is funny. So, I work in construction right now. I was like a field engineer, and 2 years ago I was an intern building a hotel. So there's all like you're building, concrete and then building the actual hotel rooms, and I had to give a tour to all the other interns of the hotel, and so I was doing a lot of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. So I was dealing with the shitters. And all the guys at work call them shitters. Like, hey, we got to get this fixed at this shitter, or level 2 this shitter. So I brought like a group of 20 people up to, like, literally there's nothing on this floor but just like a concrete slab and like a hole. And I brought them in like a room, and I was like, I just pointed at this hole and I go, so there's the shitter. There it is. And then we just moved on, and people thought it was the funniest thing. They're like, oh, where's the shitter, Declan? Where's the shitter? I'm like, it's right there, dude. I mean, it's
right there.
It's right there, dude. It's yeah. So that is my shitter story. But nonetheless,
Everyone has one story. That's
everyone's
yours.
got a shitter story.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty widespread, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, washroom, restroom, whatever, man. I think you have a valid point, but at the same time, bathrooms or restrooms not bad.
So remembering names is your average quality. And the next question is something that embodies Craig in a way of overcoming pressure when it's turning into stress and anxiety is rising, and you use this in your back pocket to overcome these situations. So, Craig, what's in your back pocket?
In my back pocket is definitely communication. Like when I'm struggling with something, or I grew up playing youth sport, I was always kind of put into a leadership role. And I think that attests to like me as a person, because I like enabling people to achieve something great. Like I want to make other people the best versions of themselves. And that's where I really feel like I get like my most gratitude, is when I see like people close to me or someone that like I have affected like do something awesome. And that's when I really feel the best, or just like the most accomplished. And that's kind of why I got into like the chiropractic profession or field. Like I love the idea of being able to help people and make them better and make them into the best human that they can possibly be.
Dude, that's beautiful.
That is money, dude. That is money. I love that, because it's and it starts with communication, right? Like you have to communicate your knowledge of the field, and they also, your patients have to communicate how they're feeling and what's going on, and together that can create something special. Like Andrew always says, the last line of Krakauer's book Into the Wild is happiness is shared. Like you can do something for yourself, and that's great, and you're going to accomplish that, and you have that with you, but that's only going to last so long. If I can help someone else become better, that's an impact that you can continually see over time and grow, and that's always going to be a reminder of what you've done for that person. So I love where you're attacking it, man. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. I think you hit it right on the nose with that. Like that's what it's about. Like that's why I'm here. Like yeah, it's going to be cool, like personal achievement, like you get to call yourself a doctor or whatever, but it's really about like other people, and I don't know. That's why I want to do it.
I'm excited to call you Dr. Craig.
Thank you.
Dr. Craig Lynes.
Dr. Craig Lynes, dude.
Yeah.
That's freaking money, team. So we've pestered you with some pretty phenomenal questions today, I'd say. And you've handled them like a champ. So congratulations to you, sir. But we've asked you a ton of questions. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, one question I wanted to ask you guys was like, what are your future plans with the podcast? Like, do you guys see yourself doing this 5 years down the road from now, or like?
Yeah, we get this question a lot, and I love getting it, and because we get to answer it in our the coolest thing is with you coming on the show, you're bringing in a whole new set of listeners that have never listened to us before.
Welcome, Alberta, Canada listeners,
and welcome all friends and family of Craig.
The Lynes doctors, welcome. Yeah, they're listening.
They're listening. That's pretty cool. So we now have the when people ask this question, we have the opportunity to tell our listeners about ourselves. I'll let Declan take this one.
Yeah. Where we want to go. I mean, honestly, we want to be able to like scale this impact, man. Like we're dominating our sandbox right now, which is the Twin Cities, and we've been able to have people. We've been dedicating our time to others like yourself. Listening to people's stories and hearing about what they love to do, and that fires me up, and I know it fires all the listeners up. But I think there's going to get a point in time where Andrew and I are going to want to take this full time, and if you're telling us we can go from 20 hours a week to 40, 50, 60, even 70 hours a week doing podcasting or Backpocket, or even maybe go do some speaking engagements or more events like Bochella, there's all kinds of different opportunities that are on the horizon for the Backpocket that are going to make this scale, this impact far greater than just what's in our backyard right now. But the fuel source of all the people right now and the impact it's having already is very telling. Like the fact that you can come over today from Bloomington, be friends with Mark, we can sit down and have a conversation for an hour. That this conversation will now reach thousands of people. Like that is so cool. And it's not just like the people at Northwestern. It's not just the people in the Twin Cities. It's people in Alberta. It's people in Denver, California, Illinois. It's starting to spread and make a bigger impact. And like you said, with helping other people and hearing that feedback and like really watching people grow or have an impact from what we're doing and having a conversation is the coolest thing. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do every day. So,
and just to add a little bit more to that, and you said it perfectly, and I'm going to go on record and say this because, and I don't want.
It's going on record, dude.
I don't want it to be stolen. If it is stolen, we'll just say we had it first because it's on record. But the way we're going about this is called mirror image marketing. It's a reflection at the Backpocket. Its 2.5 years of existence has been an entire reflection of Declan and I, where we are in life. whatever Backpocket's doing is a reflection of who Declan and I are. And now we're starting to realize, and we have been doing this for a while now, but we've put a name to it. It's our guests and the way we craft these stories. It's a reflection of Craig. So the mirror image marketing, when we put your story out there, we're not making it out to be something that it's not. You have the full opportunity to describe your story in however you want it to be. So when you come on your show, it's a mirror image of you. And that's how we want to have these conversations, is when the way we start the conversation, the way we finish it, it's entirely a reflection of who you are. And I think that's our most powerful attribute, is the authenticity of how we're trying to go about this whole journey, of a reflection of Declan and I. And then when the conversations we have, it's a reflection of you and the guest. And I think that's really cool. And it's hard to grow that way because it's very grassroots, and you really have to get buy-in from a lot of different things and a lot of different variety of people, but it's the most rewarding thing we've ever done. So Craig, thanks for asking that question. That's a long-winded answer, but that's what we got.
Yeah, and honestly, you guys are doing awesome. Like, I wouldn't have came if I didn't think I could come or it'd be an awkward conversation. Like, I know you guys are good at speaking to people and good at talking to people and really asking the right questions at the right time, and that just attests to what you guys are doing.
Right on. Thank you.
And I love how, it's a tribute to you too, man, because you have been yourself. Like, it's really cool and rewarding to have someone come on this show and just be able to let loose and like be transparent, authentic about everything that they're doing. And I love that. And it's, Andrew and I were talking, like, back to this mirror image marketing thing. Andrew, like, we were talking through it on like how this all like works, and Andrew's like, well, if we're gonna make a bigger impact, we need a bigger mirror. I was like, no, we just need to be better people. The mirror's just always gonna be there. And so how do you be a better person? You just be more of yourself. Like, you look inward. That self-awareness is huge. So kudos to you for being self-aware and just transparent today, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it, man.
And how we want to continue to grow is by tapping into more of Craig. And by doing this, we want to challenge ourselves through someone that is inside your circle. Could be a good friend of yours that you want to have on the show, or it could be someone that you're like, wow, I don't think you could go get this. I don't think this person would ever be on your show, but I want you to go and try. Is there someone out there that you'd like to challenge us with?
I would definitely, personally, it's tough being from Canada I noticed that question. I was like, really thought hard about it. Like, one of my buddies, he's a professional hockey player. His name's Justin Kirkland. I'm sure he's had like some pretty cool stories that, I don't know, maybe he would come down or come talk or whatever. I would love it if he came and visited, if he ends up hearing this.
See your buddy? Like,
Yeah,
actual
he's
friend?
like-
Would he
yeah,
come
yeah.
and visit you out here?
I don't know. I would love it if he did, definitely.
Okay.
That would be amazing.
All right, challenge accepted. And I think the best way to have him on would be when he comes to visit you, you text us immediately, like, my buddy's coming in. Let's arrange this time,
And you
Yeah,
can produce
definitely.
it, dude.
or we'll have a fourth mic by then, and we can have a full conversation.
We can have a full conversation. There you go, dude.
Yeah.
Justin can sit right there if he wanted to.
Perfect.
Oh, man, that's going to be phenomenal. Yeah, maybe he just comes out for Bochella 2020.
Yeah, that would be... I'm excited for that event. I will definitely be in attendance.
Yeah, I actually want to ask you about that real quick. Like, from your experience, kind of knowing us maybe before through Mark or however, what was your... I guess take me through kind of your experience of Bochella, because I really want to know, because I want to make the experience better. Anyways,
Starting with what you thought it was going to be to getting there.
what
and
it
then,
was, yeah.
I didn't really know what to expect. Mark said like a couple of his undergrad friends were doing a boat party, and I was like, okay, like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like, and then he was like, oh yeah, tickets are $60. So I was like, geez, well, that's kind of like expensive. So I was like, this better be legit. When I got on the boat and saw everyone and everything, I was like, yeah, they put a lot of work into it. Like, it was a 100% worth the money. The only thing that I could critique maybe for your next one is like, we were on the boat from 1 till 4, and then you got like that awkward time from like 4 till 6 or 7 where you can't just go straight to the bar after that. Like, everyone kind of went home at 4:30, and if I were to do it again, I would try to like get the boat to start at maybe 4 and go till 7, or I don't know if that's possible, or more money, or how that would work.
That makes sense, and that's a great point. We tried to get people to come to we had like a 2-for-1 deal at Tom Reed's in like Lower St. Paul, but the cops thought the boat was, we had stopped paying for the boat at 4, and I didn't have time to make that announcement, so no one knew where to go except for like the small people that I ended up was able to tell.
I was just drip line marking out as I was giving.
Yeah,
I was dapping up
people were getting
yeah.
shuffled off the bus. We should have posted that on like our socials and stuff, which we failed to do. But that's a great point, and we want to make that thing like a full day event. We got some ideas to go
national.
from. We're starting at 1 still, but we're gonna go until 10. And it's going to be something that's
lit.
Don't share. I want to be surprised.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Okay, final question. What did you learn today? I know it's early. What did you learn today from the time you woke up till the time we're recording now?
I really learned about some American geography. Like, that was pretty nice. I'm pretty excited for my trip I'm going to take here in a couple of years. Got some Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Colorado, we got mountains. What were a couple other landmarks that I had to hit? Oh, yeah, West Coast for sure.
Yeah, the beauty of California.
Probably just drive down there somewhere,
Yeah, that's going to be epic, man. Maybe we'll vlog it. We'll hire a camera crew, just follow Craig around.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd be lonely. I'll probably be lonely.
Yeah.
When do you do you graduate in May, so it'd be like a summer road trip?
We graduate. Well, I think I would probably do it after my 9th trimester, because I think for the 10th one, I'm allowed to go back to Canada and finish my last trimester there.
Is it like a residency type thing?
Yeah. So I would technically finish T9 in the summer, like
Summer 2021.
Yeah. So it'd be in the summer, so it'd be perfect time to go driving.
All right, dude. Summer 2021 sounds pretty sick. We're in the last
half of the year
of the teens, or the second decade of 2000.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to
Your
think
thoughts?
About. Geez, that's time flies. Time really flies, and you know what? Have fun. Like, you're only 20 once. I guess I'm 23 now, but
you only can live in the 2010s one time.
Yeah,
it's time for 2020. I'm ready for it.
2020 is gonna be sick, dude. You can tag 2020 behind pretty much anything, and it's gonna be dope. Like Craig 2020. I don't even know what that's probably just the year you live, but oh man, does that sound like something?
That sounds like a good year.
All right, Craig, I appreciate you coming on, man. Hell of an interview, hell of a conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It was awesome.
West Coast in my heart, right where I'm meant to from the start. It's so much warmer than the secrets you've been